Well, I actually got involved with St. Mark's because of Miss Clark, the principal here. I've known Barb since we were in college together a long time ago. We played field hockey together, and that's how we met. So we've known each other a long time, and we've stayed in touch over the years. I've come to St. Mark's a couple of times and talked to the students. And Barb was talking to me recently when she was on a trip to Houston about leadership and how to try and develop that in young people. How to develop that in young people. And I said, we can teach that. And she was like, how? And so we came up with this idea. She came up with several of the ideas, and we used some of the ideas for the leadership tests that we were using came from 2 astronaut selections previously. We used some similar ideas for crews that we were selecting for to be potential candidates as astronauts. So we use similar type scenarios. Well, after spending 2 days here at St. Mark's, I've really been impressed with the young people. I've never done a leadership thing with young people before. I've worked with astronauts and astronaut candidates, people we were looking at selecting as astronauts, but I've never worked with young people. And it's just so much fun to see the light bulbs go off in their heads and to go from one task to the other and try and take the lessons they learned from one and use them on the next one. And it's great to see them develop and learn and, you know, build up some confidence that they can speak up and be a contributor, be a leader when they might not have thought of being one. I think leadership and teamwork training is important in any job that you do in life. I think whether, you know, yes, on sports teams it's critical. You know, growing up I played sports, and that was obviously an easy lesson to learn. But as you grow into your professional careers, the people that you work with become your team, become your family, and you have to work and integrate with that team and family to be very successful. And the most successful groups, the most successful tasks that I've worked on, it's because of building this cohesive team that communicates effectively, where everyone's contributing and everyone feels they have an important role. And that is something that you can learn at a young age and use it throughout your entire life. I think leadership leadership and teamwork, to me, it's more important that teamwork is the part that's most important. Being a leader is important in developing in specific roles once you, fit into a certain job or situation. But I think the most important part is the teamwork that's required. And everyone has to know teamwork. It's not just the leaders that we're trying to teach here. We're trying to teach everyone to be part of that team, to be an effective part of that team. And for instance, on long duration missions, we have overlapping crews. And so we go from one crew member who was a follower at one time, then becomes the commander on the next crew. And so you have to be able to transition in your roles throughout life in being a follower role and being a leader. But the characteristics that you need that are important are still all there as part of a team. I've been really lucky in my experiences at NASA to have lots of leadership and followership roles. I think one of the most memorable as a leader and as a follower, it's a combination of things, is a solar array repair that we did on orbit. As I was the commander of the International Space Station at the time, so I was a leader of the team on board, but I was taking direction from the team on the ground who were trying to work and come up with a solution that was something that we could solve on orbit and actually implement on orbit. And so that our roles in NASA are somewhat interwoven, and that shows again why it's so important to just be a part of the team, and that the team role is more important overall. Getting the mission objectives done and getting that end goal is the most important thing. So at NASA right now, I'm working on a number of different tasks looking at what we call the soft skills, or expeditionary crew skills. The things that we want our crews, the behaviors that we want them to implement to be successful as a team. And so we're defining what those, those soft skills, and then listing expectations of what we expect a crew member to do, and then providing examples of that or attributes of that type of behavior so that people will clearly understand that these are the things that we're looking for in our astronauts. We're rolling that into selection. We've done it in the last 2 selections, doing scenarios like we did out here with these young people today, but a little more complex and a little more challenging. But we put the candidates for selection, astronaut selection, through a series of these tests to try and determine who interfaces best with each other, and from those people then we end up picking the